Hi, welcome to my channel. This video is part three of a three-part series where I've been sharing the last couple of weeks how to properly connect your chatbot to your Facebook and Instagram advertising. As a recap, in video one, I shared my favorite technique, and that's using JSON from ManyChat inside the ad itself. Now, the benefit there is that they go right from the ad and click the learn more or shop, and they open up Messenger right from ManyChat and can start a conversation. And if you watch that video, I shared my ninja trick where even if they hit the button by mistake, more times than not, they're going to get my business card right through Messenger because they did a oops, not now. So if you didn't watch that video, make sure you go back and watch that ninja trick in the first part of the series here. The second video I covered is another popular way, and that's using what we call keywords in ManyChat and taking advantage of a form that is generated on the Facebook side where you create a messenger pop-up form from your ad in Facebook, but then you use a quick reply action, a button they push that will then enter them into the chatbot. This third series here today, I'm going to show you how to use lead forms in Facebook, which is a popular campaign method, and how do you attach from the lead form the chatbot. So when they collect the data from the lead form, we then send them into Messenger to finalize the conversation and continue to do the follow-up. So if you're interested in this, stay tuned. Let's dive in and let me show you how to set up the lead forms, and then I'll show you where to attach them in your Facebook advertising. So before I dive in, I want to talk about a couple of the ingredients you need to have at your fingertips when you're creating these lead forms. Number one, you need to have your privacy notice. Facebook, when you're setting up the forms, is going to ask for your privacy URL. And I'll show you from my website where I get it, and you more than likely have your own privacy right on your business page. The second thing you want to take in consideration is you want to be able to integrate these leads directly to your CRM. So you need to take in consideration what fields that CRM requires. For example, I use KV Core here at EXP. KV Core requires a first name field and a last name field as two separate fields. So on Facebook, when I'm creating a lead form, it may have the full name of the person that's going to collect. That won't work well if I'm doing an integration over to my CRM. So I may want to connect both of those fields to the form, so that way I can get both their pieces of data along with emails and phone numbers to properly send over to my CRM. And finally, you want to think through what is the end game of the form? Where do you want to send them in ManyChat? In this exercise, I'm going to show my rent-to-own program, for example. So I may have an ad talking about our rent-to-own in the Philadelphia market. They're going to see the ad. They want to learn more details. The form will pop up. We'll collect information about the person. And then we'll send them into Messenger, where the chatbot's role is to describe the program and make sure they qualify, to make sure they're an active lead, and have the chatbot do the scheduling to put time on my calendar if they have any questions about the program. So there are the three main ingredients that you want before you dive into Facebook to start creating these forms. So I have all those at my fingertips. So I'm going to jump right in to Facebook and show you how to create these forms. So over here on Facebook, you want to be on your business page. Now, the business page has changed quite a bit in the last couple months. Facebook's been updating the interface. Before, lead forms was found under publishing tools on your main page. Well, you'll notice when you go to your page, publishing tools is no longer there. They have moved the lead forms over to the business suite. And business suite is the new overarching application within Facebook. So what you're going to look for on your business page is the business suite right here in the menu on the left. You'll click on that, and then this is going to open up the suite. Now, from the suite, you want to hit more tools right here, and a menu will pop up, and right down towards the bottom of the menu, you'll see these instant forms. These are the lead forms that you're going to use in your Facebook advertising. I suggest you set up all your forms ahead of time so that you can reuse them in all your advertising. So for example, what I do in my business is I may have a buyer lead form, a seller lead form, a rent-to-own lead form. I may also have an open house lead form, right? Because I'm going to advertise my listings and open houses on Facebook. And I want to get that information for them to pre-register for the open house. So you can create these lead forms ahead of time so they're ready to go. So now when you're doing advertising throughout the year, you're just picking what form you want for that specific ad. So that's what we're going to do in this exercise. Right now, I already have a lead form called buyer form. So what I'm going to do up in here is I'm going to say create a brand new form. I can duplicate it from an existing form, and I would pick that form. Or I could just say create new form. So for this exercise, I'll just say create new. I'm going to show you how to create it from soup to nuts. So up in here, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to give the form a name. So I'm with the ProEdge group. So I'm going to call it my ProEdge Rent to Own form, right? So I now have a name for the form. Down here, I have different types of forms, either a high volume or high intent or more volume. I just keep it at more volume. I want to get as many people clicking on that ad and getting contact information to begin a drip campaign inside my CRM. Now, there's a debate going on. A lot of people say that lead forms can provide a lot of junk leads or wasted time. That's up to you. So you can create as much interaction as you want, but because I bring them into the chatbot, my leads get more nurtured, so they become hotter leads for me than just a cold lead sending over to my CRM. So this is the benefit of having chatbot marketing, because now that chatbot, when they give you the contact information, they're not just getting an email and an SMS on your drip campaign in your CRM, but the chatbot's calling them by name and starting to have that conversation. So that's the value that I'm going to show you here. What you're going to do in the lead form is you have the introduction. So on the intro, what I suggest you do, because it's going to be a lead form that I use over and over again throughout the year, is you want to use the image from your ad. It also provides consistency. So when they're looking at an ad and they hit learn more and the form pops up, they see the same image that they just saw in the ad, and now they complete the form. So that's one of the benefits of having it tied to your ad. Then you have a headline and additional information. So we'll say learn about our rent to own program will be my headline, and get access to the program on Messenger. So I like to tell them they're going to go over to Messenger, so there's no ambiguity. They know that they're going to get the details right across Messenger. Then we go down to the questions. So on the questions, this is where you need to be conscious of your CRM. And there's also a benefit, or not a benefit, but people in the debating world that basically less is more. So some realtors, I've seen YouTube videos where the realtor's asking, let's build a whole bunch of questions, like, are you pre-qualified? You know, what's your timing of buying a house, or what have you? The more questions you ask, the less chance they're going to fill out the form, and they're going to abandon the lead. So what I want to do is I want to keep this minimalistic, and I want my chatbot to gather that other data. So if they're interested in the program, we're going to get that data, and we're going to get information about their timing and all through the chatbot experience, not here on the form. But I do want to get their contact information. But as I also remember, I said for Facebook, they always pull in the full name and the email as the defaults. I want to hit this little trash can, because in the case of me, I want to send this data over to my KV core system. So with the KV core system, they need a full name, or not a full name, but they need a first name and a last name in 2 separate columns if I'm doing a mapping. So right here, you have your ad category. And if you go down to user information right here, I could say pull in their first name, and then go down and pull in their last name. And then while I'm at it, I'll get their email. And finally, I'll get their phone number. So now I have, this is the form: first name, last name, email, phone number. With these 6 little dots, you can move things around. So if you wanted to reorder the forms, they let you reorder them this way. So it's easy to navigate if you want phone number, right? Or you want last name to be after the phone number. You'll just do it this way. So it's a nice organized form. Now we go to our privacy disclaimer. This is where you need to have access to your privacy. So if you're an EXPer or somebody that uses KV Core across the world, a lot of brokerages offer realtors KV Core. Well, actually, the other brokerages, they make them pay for KV Core. At EXP, they give it to us, which is one of the benefits of being part of EXP. This KV Core website, when you're on the KV Core website, if I just come back for a second, I'll show you where I get it. So right from my main website, this is my realtor website as a realtor at EXP. I go all the way to the bottom, and this is typically where you're going to find the privacy policy. So if you're a Keller Williams or Remax and you have a website, check at the bottom or wherever you're at. and you'll get this privacy policy. And you want to copy that URL. And then we'll head back over to Facebook, and I'm going to paste it right there in the link. So now I have the link to my privacy. And right here, I can put in privacy notice. Right here. And now I'm done that piece. The final piece is the thank you. So I'm not going to say all set, because in this ad, I want them to actually go talk to my chatbot. So I'm going to say thanks. And then in the description right here, I'm going to say, click the button below to get all the rent to own details on Messenger. So I'm giving them that final thanks. Make sure they click the button below. So in the button below, we have the call to action right here, and we have the text. So what we're doing here, if I zoom back out, is we can change the text right here. So we'll say access rent to own details now. I'll give the call to action. So they'll see this button right here. And then what we're going to do is we have this link field. And this is the intersection between the Facebook lead form and your ManyChat chatbot. Or if you use another chat platform like Mobile Monkey, you could use a link from that platform. What I'm going to do before I complete this form, I'm going to hop over to ManyChat for a second, and I'll show you where you get those URLs. Basically, ManyChat has a growth tool, which is called a RefURL. I could take any flow in ManyChat and put a URL in front of it. So when somebody clicks that URL, it starts that particular conversation. So what I'll do is I'll show you one of my flows. I have a rent-to-own flow in my ProEdge package called rent-to-own main. And this is the main flow where the chatbot describes the rent-to-own program. And it tries to see if the person qualifies. And if it does qualify, it's going to ask them to put time on my calendar. I love the integration to Calendly. I have another video on my channel that talks about that as a realtor, every day when I wake up in the morning, I have buyers, sellers, and renters putting time on my calendar to have listing presentations, to have buyer consultations, and to have rent-to-own conversations. So the chatbot marketing, let this chatbot do all the work for you. What you're going to do here is you're going to hit the edit flow at the top. And at the very beginning of this flow is the starting step. And every flow in ManyChat has a starting step. I'll come down here and I'll say add a trigger. Now on the trigger, I can say all triggers. And if I come down towards the bottom, right here is the RefURL trigger. I'm going to click on this to open it up. And I always like to give it a name. So I'm going to call this my rent to own URL, because ManyChat will stamp the person how they came into the chatbot. So if somebody clicks on a link, they scan a QR code, they come in through a Facebook ad or the marketplace post. The different ways that people get into your bot is endless. You can go on a website, all those different growth tools are going to stamp how that person originated into your bot. So that's important for you to name it here. You can also give it a custom parameter. So I'll say rent to own right here. I'll just give it a name and I'll hit save. So now what ManyChat's done is created a nice URL that I can copy to my clipboard. So now when somebody clicks this link from the ad, it's going to open up this conversation in ManyChat right on Messenger and have a conversation with that person about my rent-to-own program. So I'm going to pop back over to Facebook and I'm going to simply paste that link right here. And that's all it is. I've now connected my chatbot directly to a lead form in Facebook so that it's an interactive experience, and let Facebook get the contact details and let the chatbot do all the work and getting them as a signed up customer, get them time on my calendar to talk to them, and let me close some deals this month with the rent to own program. Now, before I close out this form, there's one other thing I want to show you. Up at the very top, there's two tabs. One's called content, and the other one's called settings. As a marketer, I love when people share. So by default, this is what's called a restricted form, meaning that the person that clicks on the ad is the only person that sees the form. But let's say that a friend sees this form and they know that their friend or their fiance or somebody in their family have a need for a rent-to-own program. I want them to be able to share this to all their friends and family that need this program. So what you want to do is you want to make this an open form. That means somebody, when they see it, they can share it to other folks that want to see this ad. It's a way to just go viral with advertising and let multiple people access the same form and get leads and details into your chatbot. You can also control all the default names, how people's names appear, and so forth. But that's basically it. There's a save draft, and then when you're done, you hit publish. So if there is any problem with the form, and I deliberately left this out here, Facebook will give you an error message. So they're going to make sure you fill out the form correctly. So they want a description here. I'll say, please confirm your contact information below. So that'll be the message that I'm going to give these guys right at the top of the form. So now when I publish, that should be a clean form. So now I have a rent-to-own and a buyer form ready to go. If I want to, I can open those up and I can come over here and test the form. So there's a little tester in ManyChat, in Facebook, back to the ManyChat platform. But what I wanted to point out when I just did that test is I'm on my wife's computer. All her contact information got filled in automatically from Facebook. So it makes the collection of this data super simple for the person interacting to your ad. And then I go in and hit next, and I have the terms and conditions. I hit submit, and then the thank you comes up, and I access the rent-to-own program. And now what's happening is the chatbot is going to start having a conversation with Sharon about this program. So over here, the next step, and they already went through the requirements. She's been busy testing, and next steps to schedule a call. And then I go into schedule a call, put time on my calendar, or see more homes. Maybe they want to see some homes, and all that information is going to be collected by the bot and displayed to the person right on Messenger. So this is the navigation that we're going to have right from the lead ad. And I'm showing this person beautiful homes right on Messenger that they can buy through our rent-to-own program. So now what I'd like to do is just quickly jump over to Facebook, and I'm going to go over to Ad Manager, and I'll show you where to select the form to the ad itself, so you know how to pull all these pieces together. So in Ad Manager is where you create your ads. So over here, just to show you, when you're creating ads in Facebook, the campaign objectives, one of the objectives is a lead generation objective. That's where the lead form comes in. So as you saw in other videos on my channel, I'm a big believer of messenger campaigns. I also like traffic. When I'm doing just general, getting people to know Smarty in the field as a realtor, I may just do a reach campaign where I'm just getting eyeballs on a video or a message that I'm sending out to folks, where I'm not expecting cold audience to be good leads yet, but I'm getting awareness of me being a realtor in the Philly area. So based on your objective will determine what you're doing inside the ad setup. So for a lead ad generation, that's where you're going to pick a form right inside the ad manager. So what I did to save us time is I already created an ad, started the ad. So if I hit edit on this campaign, over here at the campaign level, I'll remind you as a realtor, you want to fill in the special ad category, make sure it's housing. Now down here, you could do your budget at the campaign level, or you could skip it and do it at the ad set level. So that's depending on your style. If you have multiple campaigns, multiple ad sets, multiple ads, you may want to run budgets at the higher level or at the lower level, depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I created an ad set called Monco Buyers. And in the Monco Buyers, I went down and I said everybody in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. And down here, I set my budget and my Facebook page. So all that is set up. Down below, I said placement is going to be on Facebook, and I identified the news feed and marketplace is where I want this ad to be shown. And basically, that's the ad set. And then finally, we have the ad itself. So in this example, I was doing a new construction ad, but let me call this the rent to own. So to be consistent with my video here, if I'm going to do the ad, basically what I'm going to do here is you can pick carousels or images. you have your ad, your primary text and your picture. And down here, I have a headline and a description. So the primary text goes above the photograph. You have your photograph or video or carousel. And then down below, you have the headline, which is the call to action. Get pictures and details on Messenger right from here. But I want to just come right down here to where the form is set up for the chatbot. So up in here, you can create a brand new, in the message template, a brand new form. And that same form I just showed you would pop up blank and you'd create your form. So if you don't create the forms ahead of time, you can create your first one when you're doing your ad. But I like to be prepared. So right now I have 2 different forms, and I'll put them to the rent to own form. And again, I could say preview it in Messenger, and the chatbot will then start again the conversation, open up Messenger, and show me how it works. But that's basically it. A very easy way to attach the chatbot to a lead form. In this video, I showed you how to create your lead forms. So don't just watch this video. I expect you to take some action here. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I'm here to help you. But get started today. If you're not in advertising yet, at least create all your forms, get them all set up so that when you do ads, you just simply pick that form and your ad is ready to go as a realtor. And I'm here to support you every step of the way. We have your back. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next one. And if you haven't already, give me some thumbs up with a like, and think about subscribing and hitting that bell, as I'm committed to having videos each and every week to make us the best decade ever as realtors investors.